Politicians keep talking about the next year 2023 elections instead of them to put am for mind how the next generation stage go be. Obaseki na im talk this one. Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki don tok say di major problem wey dey see wen dem wan enta government na di matter of illegal immigration and human trafficking for Edo State. E con tok say im government don try dia best to solve dis matter, na why dem chook dia whole body for inside education. Obaseki wey tok dis one on Monday for Government House Benin City for di courses visit wey di study tour participants of di staff college con do for Edo State, tok say im government don put education for front and dem don train over 15,000 teachers using technology. E con still tok say di problem for education for Naija na say dem put ogbonge policy in place but dem no dey follow am.
It's important that we let people into, patrons like you into what we're doing, so that we can also learn from you, given the breadth of your representation from the participants and also the faculty. We can get to understand a lot more what's going on your there and how your minds are working. For us in Edo State, as you said, when we say we are the heartbeat, it's like we're a core hub in the country. And from a security standpoint, we are very conscious of the fact that we're like a buffer state. And we are also like a pinpoint because of the nature of traffic that transits our state. It also creates a major security challenge for us, since we are at the crossroads of everything. But having said that, we, like most other states in Nigeria, have the same challenge of a very young demographics, young people who have got, who are very aspirational, young people who are looking for opportunities. And we were particularly hit when we came into office because in 2016, we had a major crisis of human trafficking and irregular migration. At one point in time, we had over 30,000 young men and women from our state in Libya trying to just cross to Europe. And you wonder, why would people take such a risk? And they're not stupid. I mean, these are people, children, who are very aspirational. If they were just satisfied and content with the situation, they would not have left. But because of the culture they come from, they just decided to take the kind of risks they took for in the hope of a better life. And that hit us as a government. Say, look, what do we do to make these young people feel home is home and that nowhere else can be better than home? And so we embarked on a whole series of programs. But one thing that came out for us was that, for us, this was, irregular migration was a security challenge. For us was that, the educational system on which this state was had broken down. So for decades before us, people were not looking at how children were being trained, how the school system worked. Teachers were not being paid. So they were not, you had homes where the husband and teacher, wife teacher, and there's no income, it's company salary. Naturally, they'll go and look for alternative means of livelihood. And there was no investment in the infrastructure of schools. I mean, I remember when we first came in, you recall, went to a school to inspect, there was no roof. And as a plane was flying past, all the children in the class were, waving at the plane. So the consequence was what we had to deal with, which was thinking through and say, okay, what do we do as a state? How do we redirect our investments and our priorities to create a hope for a better future for these young people? And then, without proper training, proper education, the consequences on unemployment. We had an army. Army. I mean, I'm talking about army. My predecessor in office called them his infantry of unemployed young men and women, mostly in the motor parks, because we're a transport junction. And it's only now we begin to understand the details of what really happened. So our priority was education. Fix the, and not just education, fix it at the foundation. Because if a child at 6 is able to spell properly, able to add their songs, able to, form words, at that foundational stage, it sees you through. If you think about it, everything we are learning, doing today is based on a foundation we received. And so we just thought we should, for us, the priority was invest in the foundation of education. Retool the basic school system. And how do you do that? The teachers. My predecessor in office went in, saw there was a problem, humiliated the teachers. We said, no, let's retrain them. So we've retrained over 15,000 teachers. And it's just not training, it's also training them using technology and modern pedagogy. The first thing we in terms of training, you know how powerful the unions are, teacher unions are, and the kind of rot that had gone in. So initially we didn't make it compulsory. We just said, look, for those of you interested, come. So they didn't, understand what was going to happen. After training the first set of teachers, we gave each one a handheld device. That handheld device, and I'm sure they're going to show it to you when you're tour. A tablet has all the things they need to teach. Their lesson notes are in there, so they don't have to sit down and scribble all the lesson notes. They take attendance, and all the things they need to do to motivate the children in class and school. That was what they were trained in. So suddenly, school became fun. For them as teachers, they also began to, there was quite a spark, motivational spark. I remember when we finished the graduation of that first set of 2000, it was electric. If you see the excitement with the teachers, it was just, I've never seen anything like that in my life. And when they finished the graduation, the sense of pride in their profession just, became so high. And some of them now started calling them, said, don't talk to me, I'm a digital teacher, you're analog. And so that sort of transformation, the transformation in the basic school system, after 3 years, what we call the Edo Basic Education Sector Transformation, after 4 years, we're now beginning to see the outcome and the benefits, because the children in our public school system are now learning. We've moved from schooling to learning in our schools. We've trained about 15,000 of those teachers. We have about 300,000 of these kids in our system. And we just keep improving. Our whole idea is once children leave and they're able to read and write and, find out knowledge, information themselves, the likelihood of somebody deceiving them to say, there's work here, there's work there, come, is, going to be limited. And also, with the self-foundation, you prepare them for a world of work. So where are we now? After 4 or 5 years, these children are moving to the next level. And that's where the real challenge is. Because about 25 years ago, the nation changed its educational policy. I'm sure for everybody here who is under 40, when you went to secondary school, you went to primary school 6 years, right? You went to secondary school 5 years. Then you had to do university or whatever, right? They didn't change that system to one which is just okay. You'll do 6 years of primary, 3 years of junior, and 3 years of senior, right? But, it was the change on paper, but nothing was done to disarticulate the school system. So you finish primary 6. Now they said, okay, what does junior school mean? You still had the junior schools and the senior schools in the same premises. What was worse was that under the policy, you said junior school is under UBEC, under University Basic Education, right? You didn't create another body for senior schools. So the states took over responsibility of the senior secondary schools and never invested. So if you go The school that your secondary school before now will have two schools, one junior, one senior, two different regulatory agencies for that, but they never remove them from the same premises.
E con still tok say di educational system for naija na im dey cause unemployment, but for edo state say na one tin dem recognise and con reset di educational system for edo state.
We now realized only now that in Edo State we had a 50% drop-off ratio from primary 6 to SS1. That's what you see in the streets. All these boys, Alaye boys, all the guys in the parks, that's what it is. And then primary 6 where teachers were not in class to teach them. And they knew that, okay, they have a brother in Europe, a brother in this, they'll bring cars from Belgium. So whatever it is, let me go where my brother is or where. So that's what we inherited. So where are we now? We're saying, the policy makes sense. And why does it make sense? When a child gets into the school system, the state is supposed to be responsible for that child until you are 15. That's why they said basic education is free and compulsory. So you're supposed to receive 6 years of primary and then maybe another 3 years of junior. So by the time you leave junior school, even if you don't have the opportunity to further your education, you have skills. You have, you'll be prepared for life. But that didn't happen. So what we're now doing is trying to rebuild that. Separate junior schools from senior schools. Then have another track. When you leave junior school, you have an option. You either go academic, secondary, or you go technical. And we're trying to encourage more people to go technical. Nothing says you cannot go back to academic if you have technical skills. Because the biggest challenge we have in Nigeria today is a system where people are not trained for production. And that is the fundamental problem we have, in terms of the topic you're looking at. Youth unemployment has been created by a faulty educational policy and implementation of educational policy. And until we fix that, we're not going to go far.
Obaseki wey tok say many politicians think say government na to dey build roads and bridges, but wetin dey important na to train dem pikin dem sake of say na dem go build di roads and bridges for di future. E con still tok say make politicians dey think about di next generation and not di next election, as na dis one dey cause corruption for di country.
You cannot talk about development, you cannot talk about growth if you have not prepared your human capacity for that. And it's long-term investments. It's not something you do and get the benefit during the next election. No. So everybody is saying, they build this, they build roads, they build bridges. I said, no, train these children. They will build better roads and bridges than us. They'll build a better and stronger country. Let's put everybody in one system where people think like one and think country first. Because we're not capturing, you see, the other thing about our educational policy, a lot of us, because we are privileged, our children have escaped that system, right? But we don't know what they're teaching them in these private schools. What's the curriculum? Are they teaching them about nation building? You see, why do people behave in a certain way? Because there is there's a point, a start point where everybody receives the same basic training. Doesn't matter your social status. Then after a point, because of your social status, you can, we're creating two societies or several societies where children of the rich have no relationship or no point of contact with others, which is very dangerous long-term for any system. So we come back to education, education, education. We just need to put in those, the investments required and not focus on the peripherals. We must think as politicians, think about the next generation, not the next election. That's been our focus in Edo.
Air Commodore CO Obi Abaka, wey be di Director, Department of Air Warfare, wey dey represent di Armed Forces Command and Staff College Jaji, and con still be di team leader for di College Study Group 45 for Nigeria Study Tour of Edo State, con throway salute give di government for wetin dem don do for di state and di ogbonge support dem don receive from di government. E con still chook mouth on top wetin di Nigerian Study Tour be as the theme for the study tour na youth unemployment and national insecurity.
I am most humbled to convey the greetings and appreciation of the Commandant, Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji, Air Vice Marshal Antonio Olurutomi Tuwashe, to His Excellency and honorable members of the State Executive Council and government functionaries for obliging us this visit, as well as the warm reception on arrival. I deem it a real honor and privilege to lead this team conducting this year's Nigerian Study Tour in Edo State, the heartbeat of the nation. Indeed, the heartbeat of the nation. A state known for its vast culture and more recently, for its massive economic transformation, which has impressed us so much. My team is one of the 8 teams currently on tour of selected states of the Federation as part of this year's Armed Forces Command and Staff College Nigerian Environmental Study Tour for students of Senior Course 45. The states currently being visited across the country include Delta, Kogi, Gombe, Jigawa, Katsina, Ondo, Plateau, and our own amiable state, Edo State. Your Excellency, please permit me to acquaint you with a little background of the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji. The college is a tri-service institution established to train operational level military officers of the highest professional standards to assume command and staff responsibilities on their graduation. The objective of the college is to develop the professional knowledge and understanding of the selected officers of the armed forces to prepare them for both staff and command appointments and responsibilities in the field. It will interest you, Your Excellency, to note that the college does not train only Nigerian military officers, but also other officers from allied countries in Africa and the world, in line with the foreign policy of our great country. To further give the college an international character, the Armed Forces of Nigeria and her Ghanaian and South African counterparts have established a military exchange program which include the participation of officers of all the countries mentioned as students and directing staff in the college. Currently also we have officers from South Korea attending the same courses in the college. At the national level, the college also trains officers from paramilitary organizations and ministries, departments and agencies. These include officers from the Nigerian Immigration Service, Department of State Services, Nigerian Customs, Nigeria Correction Service, and the Nigeria Police. Others are civilian students from the Defense Intelligence Agency, Ministry of Defense, and now the National Defense College. As part of the curriculum of the senior staff course, the students are made to study the African environment. This study begins with the Nigerian Study Tour, for which we are here, which is an environmental study tour of selected states in Nigeria. During the study tour, students of the senior course who are with us today are tasked to research into certain critical areas of national concern, after which they present their findings in the form of a research paper to the college. The students of senior course in the college are usually enrolled for the master degree program run by the Nigerian Defense Academy, and that is why we have a facilitator from the Nigerian Defense Academy who are the people implementing the master degree program. So this research program also constitutes part of the master's degree research curriculum. So the theme for this year's study tour is youth unemployment and national security. The tour will afford the students the opportunity to have a first-hand information relative to Edo State in their research efforts. It will also provide them with the knowledge of the political, socio-economic, health, and security policies, programs, and strategies that are operational in various states they visit, and in this instance, Edo State. The students also have opportunities to carry out on-the-spot study and research into the theme of the tour and profile reasonable, workable, and relevant alternative solutions in relation to the states that are being visited. The students are therefore here to know particularly about the efforts of the state government in addressing youth unemployment and how these efforts contribute to the overall national security. All these are also aimed at meeting the college objectives of developing the knowledge and understanding of the student officers of the three services of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, the international students, including those from ministry, departments, and agencies.
Oluwatobi Odeshola, TMC TV News. Make una remember say your PVC na your power. No go sell your votes give any politician or political party on election day.